Actually, itong show naming tatlo is called An Eternity of Basketball. That's a Joe Cantada line that he used to use. An Eternity of Basketball. So what our thrust is really to take people back in time, back to the 80s, 90s. So we're not going to dwell too much on what's going on with basketball with the league today, but we want to take people back down memory lane. So we will immediately just go into it, because we do have on our show now Coach Isabelo, Jojo Lastimosa. And the legend of Jojo Lastimosa started nationwide here in the Philippines. PBL yan PABL. There was Mama's Love. Eventually, naglulier Coach Jolas. Can you tell us how it was coming from province? You came from the south. Then suddenly you're in the limelight here in Metro Manila. And people are knowing you of the high-flying guy with the nice hairdo and the high-leaping ability, playing for Mama's Love, and you're making a name for yourself already. Tell us about the early years of Jojo Lastimosa.
Before I went to Ateneo, I don't know if you knew my story because I went to Ateneo first, right?
That's right.
So nag-Ateneo muna ako, straight from high school, from Xavier, Cagayan de Oro. Mm-hmm. I was recruited by the athletics director, high school athletics director ng Ateneo de Manila. He's already gone, si Father Holzer. So third year ako doon, ni-recruit niya ako, and then he said, I was gonna come back for you the following year. I said, fine, it's okay, kasi may dual meet yung Ateneo de Manila and Ateneo de Cagayan during that time. And yung time na yun, kalaban ko sila Chot. Si Chot lang yung sumikat doon. Si Chot, kasama niya sila Manyos during that time. Sino bang kasama niya? Basta si Chot lang yung who made the name for himself.
Sila Mike Facundo yan.
Yeah, sila Facundo nga yun.
Wala pa si Mike Facundo.
Wala pa.
So anyway, to cut the long story short, pag fourth year ko, true enough, I got recruited to play for Ateneo. And that was my first time to get to Manila and experience how it is to play the Manila brand of basketball. And to tell you honestly, I almost quit and went home dahil nahihirapan ako. It was difficult because sa probinsya naman, wala naman kami mga coach na legit kung sino-sino lang nag-coach sa amin. So I pretty much learned how to play basketball in the playground. So playground legend ako sa Cagayan de Oro during that time. So it was difficult for me yung adjustment period.
When you got to Ateneo, Coach, kayong dalawang magkapatid yun, ni Danny, di ba? When you were both recruited to play for the Ateneo de Manila team?
No, my brother is way older than me. Okay. My brother during that time, he was already no, I think he was still in Cagayan de Oro. Naglalaro siya ng college doon, and then pagpunta po na yata sa Manila, that was the only time na pumunta siya ng Cebu. Cebu. So since I got kicked out, so I played there for 2 seasons, and then I did not meet my QPI for the second year. I was supposed to be on probation. Pwede pa akong bumalik to pull up my grades. And I said, it's too hard, studying at the same time, playing, practicing without not much of a support. Ang support na nakuha ko sa Ateneo before was sila Chot lang, nagpapakain sa akin from time to time, yung mga Chuatico brothers, yung agent ni Kai ngayon, si Chao, yung sister nila. And yun lang yung time na naka-experience ako ng masarap na pagkain when I was with them. So I said, no, thank you, I'm going home.
Anong year ito, Coach? Sorry, anong year lang ito, Coach, yung 2 years na yun sa Ateneo?
That was 81 to 82, 82 to 83.
Okay.
And then you went to USJR after that.
Yeah.
No, I first went home to Cagayan de Oro, and parang I just spent the summer there yata, or parang half a sem, just playing kahit saan-saan lang. And then my brother was already in Cebu, so after that, pumunta na ako ng Cebu to visit my brother, and then with the plan of playing in Cebu. But I didn't know where to go. So okay, this is the story. Pagpasok ko dun sa quarters ng Mama's Love, so nakita ko na yung mga players, mga veterano lahat yung mga yun, mga legend na in their own right dun sa Cebu yung mga yun, and they look kind of intimidating. And sabi ko, I'm looking for a school here. So sabi nila, oh, dito ka na sa San Carlos. Dito ka na sa San Jose Recoletos, ganyan. And di ko alam kung how I decided to go to San Jose Recoletos. Maybe because alam ko na malakas yung lineup nila. So that was the story. So my coach there was si Yayoy. So and that's where I actually made a name for San Jose Recoletos. And at the same time, I played for Mama's Love. I signed for 2 years. I signed for 2 years. And I can still remember yung kontrata ko was for 2 years, I was going to get, sa first year ko, I was going to get 800 a month. Okay? So, 800 a month. And I was so happy. And my quarters, tapos my food. So, I didn't have to spend for anything. So, I said, okay na. Basta may pagkain na, makakain ako, I'm okay. So, that was my story for the first year. And then, sa second year, I had an increase, naging 1,200 yata, 1,200.
Well, and that's what I was saying earlier. When you got to Mamaya, di ba?
Sorry?
There was already yung TV exposure when Mama's Love was there. Naglalaro na yung Mama's Love sa TV at napapanood na ng ibang tao yung...
No. That was before we went to Manila.
Okay.
Okay, that was before. So, we were just in Cebu. Ang style kasi ng Mama's Love nun, they have a team and then they travel all over Visayas. Sa Cebu muna, nagpo-coaster kami, naglalaro kami sa mga baryo, municipality, kalaban yung mga local nila, and then we go home. And I think it was a good exposure for me because I was with veterans. I didn't play much when I was in Mama's Love, but I played a lot when I was in San Jose Recoletos. So,
sino mga veterans na kasabay nyo nun, Coach? Are there some names that are still relevant today?
Yung coach ng Cebu sa MPBL ngayon, si Manalili, he was one of the best guards, big guards in Cebu before. He was actually recruited here sa Manila, pero for some reason, yung mga Cebuano, they have such an affinity to Cebu that they don't want to leave Cebu for some reason. So, ganun yung mga players sa Cebu. So, yun siya, si Tiding Manalili and yung mga Abaez brothers, walang nag-PBA sa kanila, pero puro mga commercial players, mga veterano lahat yung mga yun.
And then when did the PABL days start, Coach Jojo, for you? And I guess that's really the time already kung saan nakita ng mga tao yung laro ni Jojo Lastimosa.
Nung nag-PABL kami yata nung second year ko na sa Mama's Love, 1986. My second year.
Yeah.
So 1986, I can still see my MVP trophy there in front of me. 1986, and I was funny story. So Mama's Love kasi we practice ng 12 to 2. And I think parang 10 to 12, parang ganun yung practice namin. Mm-hmm. And then sa school naman, sa San Jose Recoletos, hapon naman yung practice namin. So, dito sa practice namin sa Mama's Love, pinagtatawanan lang ako ng mga veteran doon, ginagawa lang ako asintahan all the time. And for me, that's okay. I was trying to learn from them because how old was I? I was 18, 19 years old. And pagdating ko naman sa San Jose Recoletos, doon naman ako gamit na gamit. And I think eventually when I really built that confidence doon sa school namin, nadadala ko na sa Mama's Love. So slowly, I was overtaking yung mga players sa Mama's Love, yung mga veterano. And walang choice yung coach namin but to use me more dito sa Mama's Love. Si Noel yung coach namin sa Mama's Love during that time. I think he's still coaching in Cebu now.
Yeah.
And then we played in the national championships, national intercollegiate sa Cagayan de Oro. Kalaban namin sila Samboy, yung Latran yung championship namin Samboy, si Jerry Gonzalez, sila Bong Ramos, Romy Ang. I don't know if you remember those guys before.
We do.
Romy Ang.
Karamihan nag-PBA doon sa mga yun eh. May isa pang magaling na player, si Libid. Parang off-guard din siya, pero he never made it na nagkaroon ng problema sa buhay. But it was a really good matchup. And then, so we won that thing. And then I won the MVP. And then, so when I went back to Cebu, first thing I still remember up to this day, I think the first day of practice since I arrived in Cebu after winning that national collegiate, sinabihan ako ng coach, tinawag ko, Jojo, halika dito. Halika dito. Sana, sabi niya sa akin, wag lang lumaki yung ulo mo ha. Yun yung sabi niya sa akin. No coach, hindi lalaki yung ulo ko. Yun yung unang sinabi niya sa akin before anything else. And then that was the year, I think that was the year na we went to Manila. So pagdating na namin sa Manila sa PABL, I was already starting, and well, and then you know the rest of the story.
1986 also. Yeah, 1986 also, coach, was the year that you first played for the national team under Coach Joe Lipa. 1986 Asian Games din yun. Paano ka na-discover nun?
1986. So tuloy-tuloy siya. Tuloy-tuloy na yun siya. And I was asked to try out for the national team, and that national team tryout was something else. All the best players, amateur players during that day were there. Walang kung may lineup na sila. It's an open tryout. Lahat ng mga best collegiate players nandun lahat. So you're talking about sila Jerry, sila Alan, sila Elmer Reyes, mga veterano na, mga sikat na on their own right sa Manila. And I don't know if you know the story, si Alvin. So first time ko na-meet si Alvin sa Mapuas na nakikita mo na yung mga players na that will stand out during the tryout. But si Alvin nag-iisa lang yata yung sapatos ni Alvin during that time. Kami naman lahat, puro ganun yung story. Walang mga sapatos, paulit-ulit yung mga sapatos namin. Wala kaming sponsor, no nothing. Gaya ng mga players ngayon, ang dami mga sapatos na libre. Before, walang supply.
So Alvin only had one pair of shoes for the entire.
I'm sure I only had one pair.
No, si Alvin, coach. Si Alvin, you said si Alvin isa lang yung sapatos niya.
Isa lang sapatos niya. Grossby pa yung atin. Grossby yung sapatos namin.
Pero coach, kahit isa yung sapatos niya, kamusta naman yung laro ni Alvin noon?
Talagang he stood out. Nakikita mo na kung sino yung makukunin mo eh. Nakikita mo na, alam mo pag yung player, wala kang kilala, and then isama-sama mo sila in one place and make them play, makikita mo kung sino magaling. They're just gonna stand out. So sila Sambo, sila Alan, sila Alvin, sila Ronnie, yung mga yun. So naglabasan lahat yung mga yun. And I was playing behind sila Elmer Reyes and sila Samboy and sila Alan. Kasi nasa ano na sila noon eh. I think they played for already during that time. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then nung 86 Asian Games, yung muntikan, nakausap namin si Coach Alan the other time about it. Yung konti na lang, nalaban na tayo sa gold medal game, tapos na-offensive foul si Coach Alan. And then, yun na nga, hanggang sa bronze medal na lang. But assess that team, that was probably one of the best amateur teams.
Anong sabi ni Alan dun sa last play na yun?
Side-step siya eh. Sumide-step siya, coach.
He sidestepped daw. He sidestepped. Dapat daw hindi charging.
I cannot forget yung play na yun because I was on the bench, I was watching. It was exciting. It was the most fun that I had so far in my career during that time. The play was, I think we were down one, and we were on defense, and then nakuha namin yung bola on a transition. So there was a transition, 2 against 1. I don't know if Alan was on the right side or the left side. Basta Alan had the ball on the wing, and guess who was on the other side?
Samboy
was on the other side. All that Alan needed to do during that time was flick it to Samboy. It was 2 points. I don't care kung 7-footer yung nasa harapan na yun. And I think yun na nga, parang diniretso ni Alan yung play na yun, and then offensive foul yata si Alan, and then we just had the foul. So yun na yung game na yun.
Yeah.
So yun yung recollection ko sa ano na yun. Samboy was on the other side, Alan was bringing the ball down.
What might have been?
Sorry, go ahead. What was it like playing for Coach Joe nung time na yun?
what type of coach was he?
No, what was it like playing for Coach Jolie pa?
Yung time na yun, si Coach Joe was the best coach in the land, amateur that time. Yun yung time na sikat si Bobby Knight eh. And he was a Bobby Knight disciple. Na alam mo naman si Bobby Knight, it's my way or the highway. So parang ganun si Coach Joe. But he had some really good concepts during that time because I remember we had a game in Bangkok. I think it was the ABC. ABC had some really good game plans, and I remember yung game plan niya was because China was so big, we kind of like make it into a zone or parang match-up zone na parang magtataw-taw kami and then we'll double on the last on cue, parang ganun. So he had a definite defensive game plans back in the day. Although yung offense niya was catered towards usually mga shooters eh. So palagi niya sasabihin na stack for player this, double screen for all screens for Ronnie, all screens for Alan, mga tipong mga ganun yung mga plays na before, mga stack. But all in all, I think the respect there for Coach Joe was huge. And we were amateur players and we were still trying to make a name for ourselves. So all we had to do was really play for him.
Coach, pabalik lang sa were you surprised that you made that team in 86? Kasi parang ikaw yung October na biglang sumulpot eh.
I'm not saying that I was surprised, but I was kind of scared that I might not make it because yung tryout namin, we started like 200 or 100 plus. So every day there's a cut. So we have to go to the newspaper every day and see kung sinong nandun. And every morning, pagising mo lang sa umaga, wala pang araw, pupunta ka, maghahanap ka na ng diary to see if your name's still there. And it was like that. So I wanted to be there. I was kind of scared na baka makatako. But I'm not saying I was confident. I was kind of parang I'm not good enough for those guys. But I made it.
Okay. Ako, Coach, yung first, yung real recollection ko of watching you play was when you were with Lulier and you played in the finals against Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that, for me, that's really great. That was such a great matchup because there were some great players on the other team as well. You were with Samboy and the two of you were just flying up and down the court. And then
we had Samboy, we had Al Solis, I think we had Anthony Mendoza, we had Harmon Codinera. A lot of those guys went to the pros.
Yeah.
And on the other side also, a lot of guys went to the pros also.
Yeah, Leo Isaac, I think, was their main man. Yan ang main man nila doon. One of their main
Andun ba si Leo Isaac?
Yeah. And then I think
wala yata.
Wala na ba si
Jeffrey Graves.
Jeffrey was there, no?
Si Glenn Capasio was there. Malakas din yung team nila.
By that time yata nag-PBA na si Leo.
Yeah.
Nag-PBA na siya.
Ginebra na siya. That's right.
Nag-ano siya kay Jawan na nun.
Yeah.
Nag-aaral na siya.
So obviously that's the time nga. So everybody was exposed. Everyone in Manila who talk about all these players. Hindi ka na the up-and-coming Jojo Lastimosa noon, which was that time you joined in 86. That time you were already the Jojo Lastimosa. And so your name was already being put into the who's going to be the next PBA superstar, and probably it's Jojo Lastimosa. I remember friends were talking.
Yeah, that was 1987 already, but Samboy was ready to turn pro during that time. No, 86.
Yeah, they went in with Magnolia already.
No, si Samboy turned pro a year before me. So 1987 si Samboy. So yun yung last year niya sa Luwilier. I think he only played one conference sa Luwilier with us, and we won. And then nag-pro na siya, nag-PBA na siya.
Yeah.
Yung recollection ko kay Coach Jojo Lastimosa was that 1987 slam dunk contest. I was actually there. Pinapanood ko kayo, inaabangan ko yung Nelson Asaitono, Jojo Lastimosa, Alvin Patrimonio, lahat sa slam dunk contest. Tapos may isang taga-JRC na hindi namin kilala na high school student, biglang siya yung nanalo.
JRC pa sa dati, JRC.
JRC.
Out of nowhere.
Berhel Menezes won that slam dunk contest.
Yeah. Parang papel si Berhel during that time. Ang nipis ni Berhel, I think he was just 150 pounds na 6'4".
Hindi nyo akalain, no? Hindi nyo akalain magiging kasama nyo sa PBA. Superstar din yun. But speaking of superstars, no? Yung pumasok ka sa PBA, what a lineup that was for Pure Foods. Of course, Alvin came later, but it was you, Glenn, Jerry, Cordillera. You all.
Hello, Charlie.
Fish Charlie.
Came in to gama kayo doon. Because the pros for you, Coach Jojo.
Sorry, the question you're asking is...
Again, Charlie,
what was it like? You know, you came in with a lot of your friends. So you with Glenn and Jenny, but then you're joining some of the veterans that you used to watch before, probably idolize some of them, and then there you are na. Sumasaba ka na bigla.
Yeah, that was crazy. So when we were, it was a special draft na parang a concession from the league. It was an expansion, so yun lang yung request ng Pure Foods. They want to bring the best 5 players from the draft. So yun yung 5 na yun. Alvin, Jerry, myself, Glenn.
Jack Tanuan.
Who? Jack Tanuan ba?
Jack Tanuan, first overall.
Jack Tanuan, kasama namin sa 5 na yun.
No, I think Jack was the draft siya. And then the 5th one was Jojo Villapando ba? Was it Villapando?
I can't really remember, pero that lineup was really stacked. So that was really stacked. Combination of youth and vets kasi yung grupo na Pure Foods inherited was the Tanduay players na champion lang nila. Sila Onsi de la Cruz, Juan Fernandez, Padim Israel, JB Yango, Freddy Ubalde.
Right.
And I remember I was watching these guys playing when I was growing up. Sila Juan Fernandez, sila Freddy, mga Crispa, Toyota guys, and I was parang just like maybe siguro yung mga players ngayon pag mga bagong start na sila after watching itong mga players na sa BBA, they get awestruck. But I think the impact before is so much because wala kami ibang comparison. There was no NDA before. Wala kami ibang mapanood. So there's only the players in the PBA that we looked up to. So para sa amin, mga Diyos yung mga yun. Wala kami mga Jordan before. Wala kami mga Magic Johnson. It's either you're a Toyota fan or you're a Crispa fan. So I'm a Crispa fan. So sila Atoy, sila Freddy. I looked up to those guys. And believe me, nung nandun si Freddy sa Pure Foods and we were together for 1 year lang yata, 1 year lang. And I played one-on-one with Freddy almost single day after practice. Wow. And
but also you were with yeah, go ahead, sorry.
It was such an experience going up against him because ang bigas ng katawan ni Freddy. Mm-hmm. And I think he was 35 during that time or 36. Ganun na si Freddy eh. Pero ang lakas pa rin ng katawan ni Freddy during that time. Although pababa na yung laro ni Freddy noon, but you know, talking to those guys, talking to Freddy, you could see his demeanor na napaka-pakumbabang tao, very quiet, he just works, and then if you ask for an advice, he's always there. So yun yung maganda sa grupo na yun is that they were all there for us, mga young players.
Can I backtrack just a little bit, Coach Jolas? So you're in the pros already, but the year before that, a year or two before that the EDSA revolution happened. So natigil yung Northern Consolidated NCC program ni Coach Ron Jacobs. But even before Coach Ron lost that program, he was already saying na sila Engelan, sila Moore, wala yan. Ano yan? For a while na lang yan. Pero papasok na dyan si Alvin, si Benji, si Jolas. And he said your name when he was being interviewed then. If, let's say, hindi nangyari yung nawala yung NCC, would you have opted to stay with the NCC program rather than turn pro when you did?
I was considered not to be on that team, yung NCC team na yun. So I was looking at their lineup. I think ano din sa mga players these days to it. I think it's a decision that you have to make na, yeah, you are going into a very good program with a lineup that's solid from 1 to 12, 1 to 15. But the question is, do you have time to play? Are you going to have playing time? And I was thinking, I'll be playing again behind the vets. And sa tingin ko, may hirapan ako. So I declined. So hindi ako naglaro dun. Mm-hmm. So for the players these days, kasi maraming gustong pumunta sa mga big programs dahil may mga offers sila, mga ganun. Pero para sa akin, it doesn't matter where you go. For as long as you get your playing time, you can showcase your skills, your talent. For me, it's the only way for you to improve. And I think my decision there was that I wanted to improve. I'm not going to improve if I'm not going to play. So I didn't go.
Okay.
So now you're a rookie sa PBA, Coach. You're in Pure Foods, 1988, and then you have you just played for Coach Jolipa. Now you have Juan Fernandez, and then eventually Baby Dalupan, and then so all of these brilliant minds around you. How did you soak in your first experience sa PBA?
Brilliant mind talaga. Sorry to disappoint you, but yung nasa my rookie year, si Mon Fernandez yung coach namin. And you have to remember na si Ramon Fernandez was still a player during that time. But he was just doubling up as a coach and doing two things at the same time is going to be so different. And coaching before was so simple. For as long as you know how to play, polish yung skills mo, there's not much going on there in terms of what you want to do. Figure it out yourself and just play. So ganun yung style before. Wala nang game plan before. Pagalingan na lang. And I think in my first 2 to 3 years of PBA, it was like that. And kung magaling ka, then you're gonna thrive. So ang galing na talaga ng grupo namin, yung Pure Foods na yun. That's the only reason why we were in the championships every single time. Kasi kahit kung sinong pinapasok mo doon, nag-produce.
Coach,
Eventually, sorry, go ahead.
As a rookie, would you remember sinong veteranong nag-welcome sa'yo sa PBA with yung on the defensive end? Pasimpleng tama o
sa PBA?
Sa PBA.
I think yung Hinebra, na yun sila, notorious na yun. I think nagpakilala kagad sila sa amin eh. Sa amin nila Jerry, kila Alvin, nagpakilala na kagad.
Sila talaga.
Yeah.
Then eventually, you got Baby Dalupan in as coach. The last thing that Baby Dalupan coached in the PBA was Pure Foods. Tapos, so what was that experience like also? Kasi dami ng coaching influences na pumapasok at a very young age. But then they're different. They're all different styles. So now under Coach Baby Dalupan, what was what was going through your mind naman?
Kailan ba pumasok si Coach Baby? After ng second year ba? After ng first year?
89 yata si Coach Baby, no?
89 to 90 because 90 we won. And I think before that, saan ba nagaling si Coach Baby nun?
Great Taste.
Nanalo din siya doon. They won with Ricky Brown. Sila Alan yata nandun. Si Coach Baby, ang nanotice ko lang sa kanya is that when he coaches, palaging malakas yung mga team na hinahawakan niya. Yung Crispan niya, yung Great Taste niya. Sino pa mga hinahawakan na teams ni Coach Baby? So, malakas yung mga teams niya. There's not much actually coaching you need. You just need to motivate the guys to maximize their talent. So pakita mo na yung galing mo. And I think that's what happened to us. And I think we were in the finals. So this is the story. Yung third conference namin ng last year ko sa Pure Foods, we went up against Alaska. We were down 0-2. Ang import ng Alaska nun was si Sean and one other guy, 6'5" na import. And I think that was the time when si Bong Alvarez was shot in the butt. So we lost Bong already. So we're down 0-2. And I think we were having a discussion sa practice namin. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Kasi 0-2 na kami. So best of 5. Ang import namin was si Darren Queenan saka si Rob Rose yata, if I can still remember. And Kami mga players actually, I remember making the game plan kung anong gagawin namin. And I think we agreed na we were gonna double the import right away and mag-rotate kami. So double the import, give the ball up and rotate. That was just our game plan. And siguro dahil Alaska din missed Bong Alvarez during that time siguro. So we were able to win 3 in a row. But I remember, ganun lang kasimple yung basketball before. I can't even remember watching a video or napakahirap din manood ng video before. Can you imagine Betamax? So paano i-edit yun? So you have to pause and play, pause and play.
Then eventually you wound up in Alaska after 3 seasons with the Pure Foods. Biglang panibagong atmosphere naman. This is now the Team Cone Alaska, a very young Team Cone actually. So what was the atmosphere like entering a new team after leaving sila Alvin, sila Jerry, tagal niyo kasama, biglang bago na namang environment?
Honestly, I knew I was gonna go. I wanted to leave Pure Foods already because I thought I needed to kind of expand my game or improve on my game. I felt like I wasn't playing a lot of minutes. I was playing siguro mga 25 to 27 minutes, and I thought I could produce more when I'm in a different situation. So I knew I was gonna go because expired na rin yung contract ko, and Pure Foods management felt like I think it's also good for them that they can find a trade partner for me. So yun nga, Alaska yung lumabas na trading partner, and see if you ask Chot Reyes now, he would always say na I was the one who brought Jolas to Pure Foods before because he was there. He was working with Pure Foods, and he said he was the one who encouraged them to get me also. Okay, and then he left for Alaska, and then nasa Alaska na siya, I was the one who recruited you also. So that's always the main thing na sinasabi niya.
Kayo magkasama all the way, sinasabi niya.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Medyo
freeze na naman yata si Charlie.
Yung signal ni Charlie's a little,
Okay, but now you're in Alaska. So, sino kaagad yung naging kasundo mo doon from day one? It's a new group of friends that you have to make now.
Mga veterano yung mga doon mga naiwan doon. Nandun si Frankie Lim, si Biboy Rabanes, nandun na siya. Sino pa mga naiwan doon na veterano?
Wala na ba si Villamin doon?
Villamin?
Yeah.
Wala na yata si...
Wala na.
Alam ko, tinray nila lahat ng mga veterano nila na iba. Iniwan lang nila si Frankie sa kasi
Saka batang Bong Alvarez nandun. Boy Cabahog, yung mga nandyan na habutan nyo.
Si Boy Cabahog, kami yung ako yung ka-trade niya eh.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. He went to Pure Foods.
It was a new beginning for me, and I found out quickly how Tim was gonna be like. So, grabe siya magpa-practice, disiplinado, meticuloso, very detailed, and I right to the get-go pa lang, alam ko na si Tim would be a really good coach because he wanted to learn. He was a young coach and wala pa masyado sa experience, but he was willing to work, and he was a hard worker.
You won a championship your first year there, Coach, yung 91?
Oh, yeah.
Against
yeah, we won.
Añejo yata. No.
Añejo agad.
That was the first championship yata of Alaska eh.
Sino bang kalaban namin nun? I can't remember sa first championship ng Alaska.
Let me check. Parang, I think it was Añejo. Pero,
Añejo ba?
That was, I forgot kung sino yung import nila nun eh. Wes Matthews. Si Wes Matthews yun. Ang import nila.
So, Añejo nga, Wes Matthews. Oh, okay.
21. What was it like playing against, an NBA veteran like that? Si Wes Matthews in the championship.
I was young. I had fresh legs and I could run all night. So, parang sa akin, walang problema yun eh. I was in the best shape of my life. How old was I? I was 27 years old. I was 27.
Mm-hmm. Kabayo pa. Kayang-kaya pa sa bayan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, pero actually, lost na in PBA history yun. You were actually teammates with Bong Alvarez for a couple of years, ano? What was that like naman, playing with, Bong? He was, kakaano pa lang niya nun eh, he made the scoring record of 71 points and he was prime pa nun.
Yeah, wala. That was before he got shot. I think that was before he got shot. Tama nga ba?
Diba sa Shell na siya?
Parang na-mix up na natin yung history natin dito.
Parang sa Shell na yata siya na baril.
Kasi nung pagpasok ko na sa Alaska, I think the following year Bong was traded already. He was traded.
So 1 year lang kayo magkasama?
Yeah, kasi
1 year lang kami magkasama. And I don't think even kung nagkasama kami on the floor because he was recovering from that gunshot. So 90 basta yung mahirap na time sa Alaska was nung 92 and 93 because that was a rebuild 92 and 93.
That was your transition year, but then you started getting some key pieces. You got eventually Bong Hawkins sumali na sa inyo, then you got in the 93 draft nakuha niyo yung Johnny Abarientos and then Edward Winyo. So did you view this as ikaw na yung veteran of the team eh? Were these the building blocks that you foresaw na uy, pwede tayo manalo rito? Ano mga nakuha natin
So doon ko naramdaman yung pagod nung 92 and 93 when you have to play a lot of minutes and produce for the team. And you get double teamed and mahirap yung basketball if wala kang kasama na you can rely on. And they knew that. Alaska knew that I needed help and we have to be stronger in terms of having a good lineup, better lineup. And I think that was also the time, I think if I'm not mistaken, si Tim admitted that I think he was going to get fired in 93 or 94, parang ganun. He was very close to getting fired. So anyway, so when sila Bong came, sila Johnny came, then that was the beginning of getting the pieces together.
Coach, how difficult was it to master yung triangle offense ni Coach Tim?
You guys are watching ba yung Last Dance?
Last Dance, yeah.
Yeah.
Ang sabi ni Kobe kay Phil Jackson about the triangle. What was his comment?
Can't remember.
I don't remember.
Episode 4 ba yan? I haven't watched episode 4 yet.
It was stupid.
Did you feel the same way? You felt the same way, Coach?
Yeah, we butted heads and coming at him, I didn't like the triangle. I thought it was a hard offense, which is true. And hindi ako sanay na umiikot yung bola eh.
I saw.
Everybody touches the ball and eventually baka mapunta pa yung bola dun sa mga players na hindi marunong sumit. So patay na yung offense namin. And it was a struggle. And palaging kinukwento ni Tim, if you ask him, that there was one meeting na sabi niya sa mga players na, hey, anyway, hindi ko to naalala pero siya naalala niya. Sabi niya na, I asked all of you guys and I asked all of you that if do you still want the triangle to continue? And in my mind, I was hoping that Jolas, that you would back me up because ako yung player niya ako yung isa sa mga main players niya eh. And then, to his great surprise, I said, Coach, I don't think we should run the triangle. And he said he was so disappointed. He was so disappointed that I was the one who stood up and told him that we should run the triangle. And sabi ko, Tim, you know what? I can't remember that. I remember. Sabi ko, I remember. So yung kwento niya, even if you ask him now, ulitin niya sa niya na I was the one who didn't like his well, it's true that I didn't like it, but eventually, ang ginawa ni Tim, I think he got smart because ginawa niya parang set play. So ang ginawa mo niyang option 1, pasa mo na sa big guy, option 2, punta mo na sa swing top mo na. So he broke it down. Hindi niya sabay na ganito gagawin natin.
You had that stretch, coach, from when you got that final piece in Jeffrey Carriazo, 95. Then you had that stretch from late 95 up to your Grand Slam, and then 98, muntik na ulit mag Grand Slam. Parang you guys were the best team in the PBA for those 3 or 4 years, what did that feel like, being on top of the PBA mountain for an extended period of time?
Yeah, looking back, actually, parang I think when you have a lineup like that, so, and the same goes with that lineup with San Miguel now that you can see, and it never a little bit now. If you have a lineup like that, you should take advantage, because yung mga lineup na perfect na gano'n, na kompleto kayo, na wala kayong problema, everyone is in sync, everyone's connected. You should take advantage, and the teams that take advantage of those lineups, usually they win the Grand Slam. So yung time naman before, like si Johnny, si Bong, lahat ng mga players doon, sila Jeff, nung alis ni Jeff, nandiyan na sila Ken, nandiyan na sila Rodney. They just bought into the idea that in order for us to be successful, everybody has to work together and everyone has to play as a team. And I think that started with Coach Tim's concept about the triangle, about everybody getting involved and having a chance to touch the ball na umiikot. And I think Tim has you should give a lot of credit to Tim for setting that kind of system and culture in that lineup in the 90s. And of course with Fred too. Fred is a huge part of that culture in Alaska, and even now, tuloy pa rin yung culture na yun about working together and about not relying too much on one or two players. So it's for me, it was a perfect organization. It was the best time of my life because I was at the peak of my career, and I experienced this.
And you also had a perfect import din, in Sean Chambers.
Right. So everything has to click. So import mo tama, yung mga players mo tama, yung mga assistant coaches mo tama, yung system ng coach mo sakto, and the support is there. So it's like a perfect storm. So pag nandun na yung mga ganun, so believe it or not, yung 98 namin na lineup, that would have been the easiest Grand Slam that you can probably imagine. In 98, I think 98 was easier than the 96. 96 medyo mahirap yun eh. But yung 98, yung first 2 conferences namin, I think this is a walk-off. Parang madali lang. But it just so happened that the Centennial Team was formed during that time.
And then we go now to yung Centennial Team performance nyo. Of course, we were trying to return to the podium ng time na yun. 90, nag-silver tayo. 94, 4th place lang ang nangyari sa atin. And then now, 98, lalaban na naman tayo for that. And then you played a key role in the game against Kazakhstan in the bronze medal game. Totoo ba yun? Yung may sakit ka nung that was your flu game daw against Kazakhstan?
Kung ano-ano mo naririnig ninyo.
Flu game mo daw yun eh.
No, that wasn't a flu game. That was the angry game.
Okay.
That was the angry game. So I was pissed. I was angry at him, and we actually fought a few games a few days before that. Kasi nangyari was I wasn't getting a lot of playing time during that yung time na yan.
Yeah.
Kasi my contention was, sabi ko, Tim, usap kami. Una-una, I didn't want to be included in the lineup. Okay, ito yung true story. Sabi ko, Tim, we have a chance to win another Grand Slam. So just leave me so that Alaska can still, we will still have a chance to get the Grand Slam. Sabi niya, no, Joe, I need you here. I need you to be in this lineup sa Centennial Team. So what can you do? So sabi niya, sige, fine, okay. Pagdating doon, halos hindi ako ginagamit. Hindi ako ginagamit. Sabi ko, I'm playing like 5 minutes, playing 7 minutes. Sometimes, I don't know kung binangko niya ako yung ano. Then sabi ko, Tim, what's this? So parang I was already pouting in practice. Sabi ko, what's this? Parang I thought you said you needed me here. So, yung pala, yung needed na parang, hindi ko alam kung needed lang na in terms of parang magkaroon siya ng comfort na may kilala siyang player doon or what. But for some reason, mas prefer niya sila Alan, sila Verhel, sila Ken, which I understand. Kasi siguro nag-match up siya. No? Pero sabi ko, of all coaches here, parang you should be the one who knows me and in what I can do. So para sa akin, and then all of a sudden now, na nasa international tayo, magbabago yung paningin mo sa akin. So I was mad. I was really mad. And alam ng mga coaches yun, sila Chot, tanongin mo sila, alam nila yung nangyari doon. I wasn't talking to him, I'm not gonna talk to you. So I just decided na I just want to cheer for my teammates. I think heading into parang last 3 games yata namin kasi yung last 3 games basta yung third game before last hindi yata ako ginamit. So that's okay. So accepted ko na hindi niya ako gagamitin kasi even sa practice hindi niya na ako ginagamit eh. So can you imagine sa pa-practice kami nandun ako sa sideline so 5-on-5 kami or magsiset kami hindi niya ako ginagamit. And then Johnny would come up to me. Bro, ano niya siya? Ba't ka nandyan? So, sabi ko, Tim, parang ayaw ko gamitin eh. So, sabi ko, okay lang bro, laro lang kayo, ganyan. So, yun na yan. So, surrender na ako doon. Sabi ko, I just want to cheer for my teammates. So, we played against, sino ba yung crossover namin? I think that was China.
China, yeah.
Yeah, so happened we had a crossover with China. He wanted to avoid China. I didn't play against China. And then yun na nga, so yung last game, I just wanted the Asian game to be over with. I just wanted to go home kasi para sa akin parang it was very toxic and I think parang yung relationship namin with him was already broken. And so bronze medal game, I was just ready cheering for my teammates kasi at least may chance kami mag-bronze, may chance pa.
Yeah.
And I did not expect to be playing anymore. I did not play the last game, so I expected na I'm not going to play anymore. So anyway, we were down. I don't know, you guys, napanood niyo ba yung game, Noel?
Yeah.
Yes, watched the match.
So live?
Mm-hmm.
You watch it live?
Channel 4 yata.
Oo, parang ganun.
Parang gano'n.
Vintage yun.
Can't remember kung live, but yeah.
Channel 13.
So, okay. So, anyway, di ko lang alam kung move ba ni Chot yun or hindi. And then sabihin mo, tanongin mo si Chot, move na naman ni Chot yun. Get Jolas in. So anyway, so I was called in. I think second quarter yata yan. So I was surprised. Parang I jumped off my seat. Of course, all my anger, they're all bottled up. So pagpasok doon, sabi ko, I don't care. So, magwawala ako dito, titira ako ng lahat ng gusto kong titira, I'll be aggressive. I don't care what you say, galit ka na rin sa akin, galit din ako sa iyo eh. So, kumbaga yung game na yun, I just didn't care. I just didn't care at all. I just wanted to play hard, I just wanted to contribute. And I wasn't there to prove him wrong, but I just wanted I was playing angry.
But then you hit the last shot to win the game para sa atin and the bronze medal.
I can't remember. I think I made the last seven points. I made the last 7 points, and I remember I had one shot. Now I can still recall. Now I shot it close to behind the backboard on the pool, on the right baseline. So anyway, so after the game, I didn't speak to him. The media people was with me. They were celebrating me for playing well and parang they were saying Tim was so stupid for not playing me yung mga games before that. And he was really it was hard for him from the media. And for me, parang kind of a vindication. You see, I told you should have used me because of all people, you should know me how I play. You know, when you need me, I know I'm gonna produce. So parang I think it was he felt so bad. And I think he admitted to me, I think he cried after that game. Because una yung pressure dun from the country na uuwi kami na wala kami nalang medalya. So it was his first time to be in the national team, and then him bungling it para sa kanya mas grabe yung weight. So it was, I think he was kind of relieved at the same time. Parang he felt bad for his decisions. Parang ganun. So that was November.
Mm-hmm.
That was November.
Yes.
December ang nakalagay dito sa...
December.
Parang ganun.
Believe it or not, so may mga awards noon, I never spoke to him again for the next how many months. Until we came back sa practice namin, I never spoke to him. It's gotten so bad that Fred had to step in to make a stop, to clear the air. Kasi I wasn't talking anymore. I came back one more year and then I left.
Then Pop Cola ang pinasukan mo doon. So now you are a 10-year veteran, more than 10-year veteran na yung Pop Cola. Mentor ka na ngayon dito sa mga papasok ng mga alipik, yan yung mga kasabayan mo noon eh.
Yeah, that was my 12th year already.
Yeah.
I was 12 years, and yung Pop Cola na experience was for me, I think that was how do you say it? It was the dark times. It was the dark times, especially nung first year namin doon ni Chot sa Pop Cola. And this is also the story there. So after the 99, I expired, right? So San Miguel wanted to get me. And I had a meeting with Ron Jacobs and Coach Jong. So we had dinner somewhere in Mandaluyong, isang hotel doon. So we actually met, and Ron Jacobs said, "We're interested in getting you." Parang naalala mo, parang they don't realize that you're a glue guy. You're the glue in that group. Sabi niya na parang, so we want you there with San Miguel. Imagine yourself winning all these championships if you're with us. Kasi ang lakas na San Miguel noong time na yun eh. Ang lakas na San Miguel during that time. On the other side, no, tapos na sila, sino na bang...
Si Danny S na yun.
Mga bata na tong... Basta malakas na yung San Miguel nun eh.
Danny's na yan.
May Danny Seagal na nun, may Danny I na yun. Yeah. Sila Olsen, nandun na yun mga yun. So malakas yung grupo na yun. And on the other side, si Scott nandun, kinuha ng Pop Cola, 2000. And you remember, si Scott was parang, he was unceremoniously removed from Santa Lucia.
Yeah.
Everybody thought na Chot's career was over. That was a bad time for Chot as well. Na binoykot siya ng mga players niya. That was terrible. Binoykot siya ng mga players niya. So many thought that Chot wasn't going back to coaching again. But si Tim got him for the national team. So that re-energized Chot nung time na 98. So, of course, matagal na kami magkasama ni Chot. So, sabi ko, since Chot is making a comeback, so he's a friend of mine. So, gusto kong tulungan si Chot kahit paano. So, I quit Chot over San Miguel.
Bakit siya dark years, Coach? Bakit siya dark ano?
Dark.
Wala siya doon na panalunan.
Yung lineup namin ng Pop Cola. Mga players na it's either tinapon na ng mga ibang teams or parang last hirit na lang. Can you imagine? So we had si Nelson nandun. He was still okay. Nelson, tapos na siya sa San Miguel days na yun. At si Nelson, unstoppable sa San Miguel yan. So Nelson was there. Alam ko, si Noel nandun. Si Al Solis. Yeah. Roel Gomez, may Fernandez pa na player, si Winnie Arboleda nandun. Sino ba mga players? Si Pido, naging teammate ko pa si Pido. Nandun pa siya, utang ko pa siya. Yun yung so yun yung mga ano namin, and ang hirap ng yung practice namin. Sabi ko, hindi ako makakondisyon sa practice na to. So, sanay na ako sa practice sa Alaska na alam mo makakondisyon ko. Pagdating doon sa Pop Cola, hindi ako nakakondisyon. nabibigyan ako sa practice namin.
But Coach, I was going to ask you kasi how did it feel when you had to transfer to Popol? But you're telling us it was your choice actually. It was your choice to go to Popol.
No, okay, this is the real story. Noong 99 na yun, I didn't want to leave. Ayoko nang umalis sa Alaska. I said, I'm gonna retire with Alaska anymore, and I'm too old to be starting my my career again, going to another team. So yun ang sinabi ko kila Fred, kila Tim. And that was the time na si Kenneth Duremda signed a 7-year contract, max.
Yeah, for max. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And sabi ni Tim na yung wala na yung Alaska pansweldo for me if I come back in 2000. And I said, Tim, I'm willing to have a pay cut. Sabi ko, just give me a pay cut. I don't want to leave anymore. So willing na ako na babaan yung sweldo ko. And okay. So we'll try to trade people. We'll try to free up the salary cap. Yung ganyan. So antay ako ng antay. Walang matrade. Walang mahanap na ano. And then finally, sabi ko na after waiting for so long, sabi ko na, Tim, forget it. So I'll just leave. So pumunta na ako sa office, nagpaalam na ako kay Fred. Sabi ko, Fred, I'm just gonna go. Kasi wala na silang hindi rin ako pwede na halos wala na maiiwan sa sweldo ko. So and Pop Cola has a really good offer for me then. So sabi ko, masama man sa loob ko na umalis. I had to go. So I remember I cried going to my car because I knew na it was a difficult separation for me.
But you eventually went back to Alaska after Pop Cola, no? I mean,
2002.
Yeah. So after the first year with Pop Cola was hard. And then the second year, it was the time when we had already napalakas na yung team. No? Nakuha namin si Rudy Hatfield, nakuha namin si Johnny, nakuha namin si Poch. So malakas na yung team namin. Nag-semis na kami nun sa Pop Cola na yan. And actually, malakas na yung team na yun. And then, so after my 2 years, nag-uusap na kami ni Tim. Sabi ko, Tim, I want to go back for my last year with Alaska because I wanna retire already. So nag-uusap na kami nun. So, yan. So after nung Pop Cola, bumalik na ako sa Alaska. May understanding na kami ni Tim and Fred na I was gonna go back and retire. And it was already a transition for Alaska because nagbago na rin yung lineup ng Alaska that time. Ang dami ng Phil-Am na dumating and Tim wanted me to mentor the young guys, yung mga Phil-Am. It was a perfect time for me to go back.
Sino yung mga Alaska ulit ng coach nung time na yun?
Sila Arrigo yun.
Arrigo ba yan? So,
sila Arrigo, sila John Ordonio, sila Ali Pic. Yun, sila Ali Pic. Sila Rob Duwat, sila Brandon Cablay, tapos later on na sila Brandon, sila Cortez, dumating na sila. But during that time, si Ordonio, si Arrigo, and Ali Pic, they were there.
How was that, coach? Because you were one of the most vocal na locals against Phil-Ams, di ba? With good reason, kasi marami rin talagang Phil-Sham nun. But then...
Yeah, I was vocal about yung mga Phil-Sham. Yung mga Phil-Ams, I had no problem with the Phil-Ams. Yun ang hindi niya maintindihan during that time. Na akala nila na I'm anti-Phil-Am. Sabi ko, dami teammates na Phil-Am, no? Si Jeff, he was a Phil-Am. And then, sino pa yung mga Phil-Am na iba doon na sila Danny Seagal, sila Andy Seagal, yan yung mga Phil-Am nyo, yung mga teammates. Sabi ko, kasi anong nangyari dito was, in one of our practices doon sa Pop Cola, nandun na si Eric Menk doon. Believe it or not, nilapitan ako ni Eric Menk. Sa, I think sa restroom niya. Sabi niya, why don't you like us? Parang, why do you hate? Parang ganun, parang why do you hate Phil-Am so much? Sabi ko, no. Sabi ko, I don't hate Phil-Ams. If you're a legit Phil-Am player, if your parents were legit Filipino, then I have no problem with those. I'm totally against those guys who are making it appear that they are Phil-Ams. Kasi alam natin kung sino yung mga yun during that time. Sila Dorian Peña, Lamig Pinisi, sino pa?
The Von Hart.
So I don't want to mention the other two. So anyway, marami pa sila Sigova before, may sila Parker. Talaga na walang kalinya-linya ng mga Pilipino yung mga dugo. Sabi ko, so pinakita ni Eric Meng sa akin yung picture ng nanay niya nung maliit pa siya. Pinakita, hey, look here, here's my mom. Look at her. Because she looks Filipina to me. So you should be okay. So you should have no problem. So ganun yung conversation namin ni Eric Meng that time. So I don't know if he remembers it, but I remember it.
Pero coach, nga, parang you're not against the films naman talaga, but parang may changing of the guard na rin talaga noon, ano, na after 1999 there was biglang dumami sila, no,
dumami sila because natakot yung PBA na nandun yung NBA during that time. I don't know if you recall that. So PBA was a new league na ang daming pinirate ng mga players ng PBA, binigyan nila ng maximum. I was actually offered to play for Cagayan de Oro, but I declined. Sabi ko, that league's not gonna last long. Sabi ko, I'd rather be here in Manila. So, and then that's when they started to have that open recruitment. So, kaya nagpasukan yung mga illegitimate na mga players from abroad na falsified their documents, and problema pa nun, pati pa yung PBA sumali pa dun sa kalokohan na yan. Diba? I don't know if you guys remember si Linda Vergara, yung
Sunny Alvarado
during that time. She was the one who facilitated yung mga inclusion ng mga players na yan. And it was a big scandal. It was a big scandal. Yeah. So yun yung problema nun.
Well, coach, sige, couple of ano na lang, 1 hour na rin tayo. I'll just wrap it up.
Eternity to, di ba? Walang ending to. Sabi mo, eternity of basketball. Talk all night. I have nowhere to go.
Okay lang. Kung marami pa.
May iniinom.
Okay lang.
Nakwentuhan eh. Madaming mga...
Ako meron ako pwede itanong.
Sige.
You talked about Coach Tim. You were under him for several years. Si Coach Chot, you had a relationship with him as well, as a coach, as a friend. And then now you have this relationship with Coach Yang Giao and Lex and all of that. These coaches, can you compare and contrast these three guys who are three of them, they say, the all-time best coaches in the PBA? Andun sila na you've been able to work with them. Can you talk about them, compare and contrast?
They have their own style, but one common denominator with those coaches, so Coach Tim, Chot, and Coach Yang, is that those guys are smart. Matalino sila and they know their basketball. And I think, and then kung isipin mo yung mga tatlo na yun, hindi naglaro ng PBA yung mga yun. But they know their basketball. And how do you know your basketball? You read, you research, you get it from experience. So I think they're all hardworking, but their styles, they're somewhat different. Okay. Si Tim, he's very detailed, disciplinarian. You have to be on time. You have to be early if possible, and then he will stop yung mga plays to correct you. He makes sure that even the last guy on the team will have the same teaching. Mga tipong ganun. So he's like that, and he studies well. He prepares well, and then si Chot in the same way, na parang mold din siya ni Tim na ganun, but in a different way na si Chot, he's more like a player's coach na pababayaan niya yung player na maglaro lang. Na Chot requires the players to be smart. Of course, lahat ng coaches gusto nila smart, pero si Chot, parang gusto niya na parang made ka na, hindi ka na niya tuturuan. Parang gano'n na klase si Chot. Hindi niya kailangang i-spell sa iyo yung basketball, kailangan alam mo na anong gagawin mo. And Chot, he is a delegator. Okay? Delegator, he allows his assistants to flourish and to learn. So pinapabayaan niya yung assistant niya to run some drills, mga ganun. Even when he was with us in Pacola, ganun siya. And then si Tim, on the other hand, he's not a delegator when I was playing. ang sarap ng trabaho ng mga assistant coaches during that time. He would run all the drills, offense and defense. You know, yung mga assistant, nandun din sila, mag-ano sila, pero si Tim will start everything. He will plan the practices and from minute 1 to the last minute. And he was like that. Even I think now medyo nagde-delegate na raw siya ng konti. Parang sino ba nagsabi sa akin? Si Olsen ba? I think nag-delegate na siya ngayon unlike before. And then contrasting these two guys to Coach Cheng, because for me, before I went to NLEX, we always have this perception about Coach Cheng na alam mo, matapang, which he is. Very fierce, very intense. Nakikita natin sa court, ganyan. And then, to my surprise, pagdating sa practice namin yan, he is the nicest guy na you can see. He is very engaging, and he's willing to listen. He can talk anything. But the best part about Coach Cheng is that he wants to include everyone. He wants his coaches to be involved in everything. So it's not that tinatamad siya, but he just feels like if he has some coaches that can contribute to the team, he would allow the coaches to contribute. So wala siyang problema. He has no ego. He has no agenda. He just wants to win. And kaya ang dami mga players din na gusto maglaro kay coaching because sabi niya na I'm gonna give you playing time. I'm not gonna give you 2 minutes. I'm not gonna give you 1 minute because wala kang magagawa sa 1 minute, 2 minutes. I'm gonna give you your time. Your 7 minutes, your 8 minutes, your 10 minutes. And then I'm not only gonna give you one time. I'm gonna give you multiple times. So if you don't produce, pag ang daming beses kang ginagamit, pag hindi ka pa naman nag-produce nun, hindi ko na problema yun. Okay? Problema mo na yun. Maghahanap na ako ng iba. Which is true. So, for the players na you think that you can play, you should play for Coach Cheng. Because Coach Cheng, he would allow you to play and just be yourself for as long as you make some smart decisions. He's gonna love you. He's gonna love you.
Yeah, we actually had him as a guest 2 weeks ago. He was telling us about yung favorite players niya na pinapsin.
Sino yung mga favorite players niya? Yung mga sila ano?
May mga shock absorbers siya na players na alam niyang
pag sinigawan niya, okay lang.
Kasama yung ibang players niyo, si Cyrus, si JR, yung mga yan. Yun kasama daw yun sa listahan.
Yun yung mga alam niyang kakayanin yung paninigaw. Bo Belga, yan, sina...
Dapat medyo ano ka lang din, hindi ka lang sensitive sa kanya. Pag mahina yung loob mo kay coaching, hindi ka mag-thrive doon. Iiyak ka talaga kay coaching. Iiyak ka talaga. Pero pag magaling ka na player, and then pag nasigawan ka, dapat okay lang yun. Huwag mo lang personalin yung mga sigaw ni coaching.
Sa career niyo, Coach Joe, sino yung pinaka-sinigawan ka na lahat ng coaches? Yung talagang was always hard on you for some reason.
Me?
Yeah.
Hard on me? Si Tim. Because he was careful to set a good example for the other guys. Kasi para sa kanya, if he cannot get on his stars, mawawalan siya ng kumbaga ng respect from the bench players. So he will have to set an example with us na parang kung what applies to us will have to apply to everyone. So hindi ganoon. Kumbaga mas malaki yung responsibility namin, mas malaki yung demand from us. So ganoon si Tim. So, hindi kesyo na kayo yung main players dito, nakukuya-kuya kayo na lang kay Tim. Hindi. If binigyan ko kayo ng responsibility, then there's a lot more demand from you guys. So si Tim, darating yung time na he will scream in your face. Hindi ka niya mumurahin, unlike coaching. Pero you will get the message. And si Tim, ang style niya dito ng pag-alit before was that tinatawag namin na special timeout. If you make a mistake, he will call a timeout and he will meet you in the middle of the court. Kami alam na namin kung ano yan. So special timeout yan. So you better listen dahil pag iiwasan mo siya, pipitsirahan ka nun. kakausapin ka nun. I think you will have to, medyo subtle na lang siya during this time, pero you can still see it na pag nagkamali yung player or may mali yung player na tumime out sa team, tapos papasok dun sa court, yun na yun, special timeout tawag din.
Okay.
Para sa preschool lang, ha? Timeout.
Yeah, timeout para sa mga bata.
Sid, do you have anything?
Yeah, wrap up na rin siguro natin to.
Last na yan, Sid.
Last two, we asked this question of all of our guests, these two questions, Coach. Unahin ko, sa lahat ng players na nakalaban mo in your 15-year career, who was the toughest to guard? Sino yung talagang nahirap ka?
Natanong na ako nito before. I don't know who asked me. I always say the toughest matchup one-on-one was Verhel. Si Verhel, yung time namin with Swift, nung nasa Swift si Verhel nung time na yung mga 90s, mid-90s, mga ganun. Because there's just no way you can guard Verhel. Kasi may jump shot na siya during that time. Tapos matangkad siya sa'yo, athletic siya. Tapos may off the dribble siya na mga move. May first step siya. So he was a really, really hard cover. And then ang mahirap din second, I think, is Samboy in a way na pag nasa open court si Samboy, when he was in a full head of steam, mahihirapan kapigilin si Samboy. You just have to foul him. So, pero in terms of a person with multiple moves, one-on-one, Verhel was the number one for me.
Ako dadagdagan ko lang, Sid, before you ask your second question. Of all of the players naman you faced, who did you have a hard time scoring against? Who did you have a hard time performing against?
Sa una, yung si Bong Hawkins nang wala pa sa amin, nahihirapan ako kay Bong. Si Bong Hawkins, yung mga ilang beses kami naglaban sa Santa Lucia, siya busit na ako dyan kay Bong. For some reason, naisip ko na mabagal to. Pero pag unang move ko sa kanya, nandun siya. And then pag binangga mo, hindi sumambamangga because ang bigat ni Bong eh.
Ang lakas pa.
Magaling tumiming and then he knows your moves. Magaling ang anticipation niya. So, para sa akin, sabi ko, dapat kunin natin si Bong para wala nang bumantay sa akin. So kaya ginawa na namin si Bong. But, kasi, the other guys, the other teams, meron lang sila mga players na specific na mga players na babantay sa akin. Their only duty is just to be in front of me or to just kind of deny me, mga ganun. So meron silang designated mga players. It could be sila Choi Strada before, sila Glenn. Si Glenn, he's fundamentally solid kasi defensively. So, kung maano si Glenn, masigasig siya, mapursige si Glenn. Pero karamihan ng mga players before, they're just one-way players. So, pag defense lang talaga, so hindi mo umaasahan sa offense yung mga yun.
Choi Estrada, ngayon ko lang ulit narinig yung pangalan na yun.
Juancho.
Yung mga Hinebra players, of course, pag papalitan ako nila Dancing Gonzalgo, sila Leo Saak, sila Rudy Distrito, yung mga pagpapalit-palitan ko ng mga yun.
And then that means you're one of the best because all the guys you said were some of the toughest defenders in the league. So, malaking bagay yun na sila yung nagbabantay sa'yo.
Yeah, I think admittedly, I think that I'm part of the game plan. Pag hindi mo naman ako kasama sa game plan, then you're doing something wrong.
Sid, meron ka pa yung magta-top 5 ka ba, Sid? Top 5 teammates?
Yeah. Yung 5
Jolas, we ask also our guests, no? Sino yung top 5 players na nakasama mo?
Or 5 favorite
or 5 favorite teammates.
You have to include din si Johnny and Bong, so you can flip-flop. I love those guys, and si Sean, I love Sean. So tatlo na yan. And of course, I love the guys sila Ken, sila Jeff, yung sa grupo namin sa sila coach. Pero I have to pick some guys na sana I wish I played more with them. Like sila Alvin and sila Jerry and even Ronnie Magsano. So yun yung mga wish list ko na I wish I played more games with them. So yung mga tao na yan, si Alvin, si Jerry, and si Ronnie. So, yan. Hindi 5 yun, dami yun.
Dami na.
Enumerate na lang namin. Coach, when you entered the league in 1988, you were the crowd darling. I was there when you were playing for Pure Foods. You do 360
I
layups.
was one of the.
Yeah. No, but it was you more than the rest. It really was you because of your hair and your wristband and the way you ran. And then so I heard the commentator at the time, yung mga predecessor namin nagsabi, this could be the next Sonny Jaworski. Sinabi ng commentator yan, you could be the next Sonny Jaworski, the face of the league, the main guy. But it turned out as your career went on, it seems, kasi it's all game ka, game face, all business, you seem to be more aloof towards the fans as the years went by. And you know that. I'm sure it's been said to you, fans would complain.
Yeah.
Now, but if you were to have a second chance, would you try to be more like Alvin and Sonny, who are there after the game, staying with all of them? Or you're perfectly fine with how it went for you?
I was perfectly fine with how it all went because that was me. I'm kind of a more kind of a parang keep it to myself kind of person na after the game na parang alam mo, kung sino madadaanan mo, you say hi and you sign. But if I can help it, I just want to go home. I'm that kind of person. I think it was only in my later years. Kasi sabi na suplado ako. I was really suplado. Talaga, I was suplado. Pero yung mga fans ng mga later on na I was in my 30s na, yung mga Alaska days na I made it a point to be a little bit more engaging with the fans. Pero hindi pa rin kasama pareho kila Alvin, kila Jerry na nandun na kami lahat sa bus, sila Alvin nasa labas pa, nagpumipirma pa ng autograph. So hindi ako ganun. Mm-hmm. Pero through the years, I've mellowed down and actually became more fan friendly. And believe it or not, my fan club now, they're still active and I'm still in contact with them after all these years.
Yeah. That's great. Well, si Chaka Raneta, pag nakikita ka, natatameme pa rin, coach. Ang favorite.
May ano din kami kay Carlo ngayong Saturday with the Grand Slam.
Yung reunion niya.
Yeah. I had to ask permission para kasama si Tim. Tim, pwede ka ba dito?
dapat kasama siya doon. Hindi naman
dapat kasama siya. Corny naman kung wala sila Sean nandun, sila June Reyes nandun, sila Merwin.
Yeah.
Diba? So it's interesting. Kung ngayon medyo nag-uusap-usap na kami ng content.
Yeah, we're talking to Tim on Monday. Siya yung next na interview namin.
Sige, yung mga lahat ng sinabi ko sa lahat sa inyo about him, you ask me.
Sige.
Ask him about the 98.
Kaya nga, exacto eh.
98.
Maganda yung 98 na alitan yun.
Okay, well, Sid, Noel, anything to add?
No.
We're good. Coach Jolas, maraming salamat sa panahon. Alam ko marami tayo niyan ngayon, but thanks for spending this time with us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Salamat.
It is an eternity basketball. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We will see you soon. And when this is uploaded, we'll let you know.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Coach.
Okay, bye.